In this presentation, we will have a brief introduction to the general structure of tenses in English with some examples. Tenses indicate the time of the state, occurring, action, or happening of something. It is important to understand the structure of tenses and the correct use of tenses because this actually helps us in making use of language meaningfully in general and accurately in academic communication. So there are three main tenses in English: the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. And these three main tenses have four subcategories, each of these, and these include the simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous tense. So we can say present indefinite or simple tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense. These tenses also have subtypes in terms of the aims of the sentences that we structure in these various tenses. And so generally these could be declarative or statement type of sentences, which include both positive and negative sentences, and questions or interrogative type of sentences. So overall, generally around 48 types of sentences could be structured in these three main tenses. Some of the shortened forms or acronyms that I used in this presentation include the following. So I have used V for verb, SUB for subject, and similarly all these other acronyms that you can see, we have made use of these acronyms or shortened forms in order to save space here. So let us begin with the general structure of the present tense. The present tense and its four types: the present simple or indefinite tense, and present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense. And as I said, the first table is about the positive or affirmative of these types. So present simple or indefinite positive will have structure: subject plus verb plus first form of the verb and plus object. So here are examples: he writes a letter, she goes to school, and so on. The positive form of the present continuous, the structure is subject plus is MR plus verb ing form plus object. Remember that object is not essential in every sentence. So here are examples: he is writing a letter. Here he is the subject, is the verb, is actually the helping verb, writing, which is the ing form of verb, and a letter object. Then the structure of the present perfect is subject plus has, have plus verb third form plus object. And so he has written a letter is an example, and all other examples are given below that. You can see that in the presentation. And present perfect continuous, the structure is subject plus has, have plus been plus verb ing form plus since, for, which, and plus time duration. So since is used where we have a fixed time point, while for is used when we have a duration of time. So here are examples of this. He has been writing a letter since morning. Now, morning is a fixed point of time. That's why we have used since with it. She has been going to school for 2 years. Here 2 years is not a fixed point of time but a duration, and so we have made use of for instead of since. And so there are these other examples that can help you understand this structure better. Now the present tense in negative form, so present simple or present indefinite negative, present continuous negative, present perfect negative, and present perfect continuous negative. So present simple or indefinite negative, the structure you can see here is subject plus do or does plus not plus verb first form plus object. So generally third person singular such as he, she, some name, etc. will take does, while first person and third person plural will take do with them. So he does not write a letter, he is third person singular. Ali is third person singular, I is first person, so we have used do, and they is third person plural, so we have used do with this, they do not work hard. The present continuous tense is, the structure is subject plus is, are plus am plus not plus verb ing form and plus object. Again, remember that it's not essential that you should have always have an object. So he is not writing a letter. Third person singular will take is, first person singular will take am, and third person plural will take are with them. So you can see these examples of this. We, they, the boys, all of these are plural, and so we have used are with them, and so you can see these examples. The present perfect negative structure you can see subject plus has, have plus not plus verb third form plus object. So here are examples. He has not written a letter. Remember that has will generally go with third person singular such as he, she, and some name, etc., while have will go with first person or with third person plural. So you can see Ali is third person singular, so it has taken has, while I is first person singular which has taken have, and they is third person plural which has taken have. And then the present perfect continuous tense negative, you can see the structure here is subject plus has, have plus not plus been plus verb ing form, and then plus object, then since, for, and you already know when we use since and when we use for, plus time duration. So here are examples. He has not been writing a letter since yesterday. Then we have this example. She has not been going to school for 1 week. Ali has not been playing cricket since 2015. Again, the use of since because it's a fixed point of time. And similarly, I, you, we, they will take have, and the remaining structure will remain the same. Then we move on to the next present simple indefinite interrogative sentences. So all of these are in the 4 types of present tense interrogative sentences. You can see the structures here. Present simple indefinite structure does, do plus subject plus verb first form plus object, and so there will be examples below this. Then the present continuous interrogative is are, am plus verb ing form plus object, and so you can see examples below this. Present perfect structure has, have plus subject plus verb third form plus object plus a question mark. Remember that in each of these interrogative sentences you will have question marks towards the end. And in present perfect continuous tense you see the structure is that has, have, we have started with has, have plus subject plus been plus verb ing form, and then plus object, since, for, time, duration. So here are examples of these 4 types of the interrogative form of the present tense. So you can see these examples, and I hope these examples are quite clear. Now the present simple interrogative negative sentences. Here again you can see the 4 types of the present tense, that is present simple, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. with the structures and examples. So you just need to look at the structure closely, and then see the examples given below each of these. So you can scroll down and scroll up several times in order to get the structure of these four types of the interrogative negative form of the four types of the present tense with these examples. So you can scroll down and see the examples of these in order to understand the structure. Now, the past tense, similar to the four types of the past tense, of the present tense, we have the four types of the past tense here: the past indefinite, or positive, the past continuous, the past perfect, and the past perfect continuous tense. So the past indefinite, so the first, this table represents the positive or affirmative sentences. Here you can see that the structure is subject plus verb second form and plus object. Again, remember, object is not always essential. Then past continuous, you can see subject plus was, were, and plus verb ing form and plus object. So he was writing a letter, and so other examples below this. The past perfect, subject plus had. So in the present one, present perfect, you saw that has and have been used. Here you will make use of the had and then verb third form and plus object. The past perfect continuous, positive, subject plus had plus been plus verb ing form plus since, for plus time duration. So again, you can see the examples below this in order to understand the structure, because these examples elaborate on the structures of that are given below. So these are the structures of the four types of past tense in their affirmative or positive sense. Now, the past simple indefinite negative. So you can see the structure of the indefinite, the continuous, the perfect, and the perfect continuous. In the indefinite, you can see that there is subject general. The general structure has subject plus did plus not plus verb first form. So when in the positive sentences or affirmative we use second form, but when it's negative or interrogative sentences, when we make use of the word, the second form did, so the main verb will turn into its first form. So that's what you can see. He did not write a letter. Many students make a mistake of this, and so they write he did not wrote a letter. So two second forms generally do not come. That is incorrect presentation of the past simple tense in its negative form. The past continuous, you can see subject plus was, were plus not plus verb ing form. The past perfect, subject plus had plus not plus verb third form plus object. And the past perfect continuous, subject plus had plus not plus been, verb ing form and object. So you can see the examples of these to actually understand the structure better. So here are these examples. Scroll down and up and watch this several times in order to understand and then practice. Then the past simple indefinite, past continuous, past perfect continuous in interrogative form. So you can see that in the indefinite or simple form, did comes in the beginning plus subject plus verb first form object question mark. The general structure of the past continuous interrogative, you can just see was, were, plus verb ing form, plus object and question mark. And the past perfect, subject plus, had in the beginning, plus subject plus verb third form and object. And the past perfect continuous form, had plus subject plus been plus verb ing form plus object plus since for time duration. So again, if its time is fixed, we will use for since, and if it's a duration, we will use for. So examples under each of these categories of the past tense in its interrogative form are given in order to elaborate on these and in order for you to have a better understanding. So you can scroll down and have a look at these examples. Then the past tense with its subcategories in terms of interrogative negative sentences. So again, you can see the structure of these four types of the interrogative negative form of the past indefinite, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. Just look at the structure and think about the structure, and then look at the examples below each of these structures in order to have a good understanding of how the past tense is formed, structured in its interrogative negative sense. Now we are moving towards the last part of the presentation, and that is the structure and examples of the future simple or indefinite, of the future tense actually. So the future simple tense, the future continuous tense, and the future perfect tense, and the future perfect continuous tense. So the first examples are of structures of the positive or affirmative sentences. So you can see the structures here. The future simple, subject plus will, shall plus verb first form plus object with examples. Then the future continuous, subject plus will, shall plus be plus verb ing form plus object. Similarly, look at the structure of the future perfect and the future perfect continuous in its positive form. And then have a look at these examples of each types of subtypes of the future tense, that is the future simple, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous in their affirmative forms. So these sentences are examples of this tense. Similarly, the future simple or indefinite negative sentences, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. So the structure of the negative sentences, each structure is given here in the green fonts, and then each of these structures is then followed by examples in order for you to understand this. The same is the case with the future tense, the four subtypes of the future tense with in their interrogative sense with structures here that you can see. You can stop the video for a while, have a closer look at the structure, then have a closer look at the examples of each of these structures, and remember that these are the general examples of the structures, and you can have like numerous other examples in order to understand this structure. There will be slight variation as well, but the aim of this presentation is actually to give a general structure and insight into and practice into the general structure of the tenses for beginning students, the undergraduate students actually, then and also the school students who have issues in understanding the structure and use of tenses in their general use, in their day-to-day life, or in their writing or speaking. So the last one is the future tense. The four categories of future tense, that is simple and continuous and perfect continuous, and with reference to the form that is called interrogative negative form. So again, you can see that the structures of these four types in the green, followed by examples of each, several examples of each, in order for you to understand this particular tense. So to summarize, I can just say that this was a brief introduction to like the basic structure of the various tenses and the subcategories of those tenses, then with reference to the various aims of the different types of sentences that we make in tenses. So this, I hope this will introduce you to the basic concept, and you can go and read further in order to understand the tenses and the use of tenses in various situations better.